Producer Harry did not want to talk about the Bengals, Breach. I don't blame him, but we're back. And Breach, I'm gonna leave you with this stat, and then you can take over. And that was a fun game to watch, even as someone who has a Steelers fan, had to watch all the AFC North teams win this week while the Steelers are on their bye. But that was a fun game. I love Geno Smith. I love the fact that Joe Burrow is coming back. But here's the stat, and then you make it make sense, because I think you feel better about the Bengals too. The Bengals, 77 yards on their final 8 drives of the game, and they still won. So what's going on? They started strong and then sort of petered out offensively, but the defense looked to be in its old form.
Yeah, look, if you watch this game, the Bengals had a very good touchdown drive on their opening possession. They had a very good touchdown drive on their second possession, and then they did absolutely nothing offensively the rest of the game. But let's not forget, the Seahawks are a good team. And if you beat a good team, it was the same as I tried to make the argument last week. They beat the Cardinals by 2 touchdowns. If you beat a team in the NFL by 2 touchdowns, that's an impressive win. And if you beat a Seahawks team that a lot of people think are good, that's an impressive win. And you know what? Was Joe Burrow perfect in this game? No. But here's what I like from Burrow. He made a lot of good throws. And his calf, again, that's the big thing, looks healthy. And they're going into a bye 3-3. 2-3 weeks ago, we were worried the season might be over. The sky was falling. It was all over. But now they got back up to 500. Burrow gets 2 weeks to let the calf heal. And this was one of the old-fashioned Bengals victories that we saw during their Super Bowl run, was where the offense struggles a little bit. We saw that happen. I mean, when they played the Titans in the playoffs, when they played the Chiefs, and then the defense carries them. There are games, there have always been games in the Burrow era where the defense has to carry the team. And I think this is a good thing that the defense is good enough now to carry the team, because the defense was also struggling a little bit when Burrow was, the Titans put up 27 points on the Bengals. So, some crazy stuff was happening, but for the defense to carry them here, I think is a good thing. And for Burrow to have 2 weeks to heal is a good thing. And now I'm not very worried about the Bengals.
Man. So I don't know if you know this, Wilson, on September 18th, 2023, the year of our Lord, someone filed a story for CBSSports.com. Some lunatic fringe Bengals fan that we gave a blog to. Don't know who this guy is. Don't know what his angle is. But this guy writes a story on CBSSports.com explaining that the only way to save the Bengals season, or the best way to save the Bengals season, would be for what, Producer Harry? It would be to put Joe Burrow on IR? Look at this. Old takes exposed. Come for this man. Joe Burrow is completely healthy, and John Breach jumped off the Joe Burrow and Bengals bandwagon after an 0-2 start. Breach, what do you have to say for yourself?
Well, classic Brinson. He obviously only reads the headline and didn't actually read the story.
Classic Breach, you are a headline guy.
Because literally in the story that was written the week leading up to the Rams game, and it was, if the Bengals don't think he is healthy enough to play against the Rams, they need to put him on injured reserve. If they think he gives him a chance to win that game, then they do need to play him, because the season hinges on that decision. If his cap gets worse, it's over, but you also need to win that game. And clearly they felt he was healthy enough to be out there, and clearly they made the right decision because they're 3-3 now.
I agree completely. I wrote this in sort of the same part. Like 3-3, you have saved your season. You have the Bills and the Niners coming out of the bye, San Francisco on the road and Buffalo at home. If you split those games, that's a massive win. My biggest question is, how did Joe Burrow's calf injury get? He's like I'm at 100% now. Basically, it's like I'm sorry, what? You were at 50% 2 weeks ago. Or 75%. Did he fly to Germany and get Kobe Bryant stuff? What's going on here?
Well, Brinson, we're not calf doctors, but my understanding of the injury was that he strained it again against the Ravens, and it wasn't the same type of strain. So it wasn't what he did on July 27th. He didn't actually re-injure it. It was kind of a different, but maybe because he was running a little bit differently because he didn't want to aggravate the old strain. So
he's now healed from the re-aggravation or the aggravation that he had versus.
And the other part, though, is that unless you make it worse, it's still healing. So he has not made it worse. And so it's healing every week. And now we're talking about, remember, this happened, even the Ravens injury was September 17th. So that's a month ago. So it's had a month to heal, and he hasn't injured it again. So, and now you're going to a bye. So I think you're happy for the Bengals.
Yeah, and I think you look at there was one play too in particular. He may have even got sacked for like a lot, like -2 yards, but he was like looked spry. It was moving around a lot, and that's like the Joe Burrow stuff we've seen in years past. And so for him to do that, I think very impressive, very exciting. If you're a Bengals fan, you feel like the future is bright and that they can make a run. And I see him at +140 to make the playoffs. I think that's a pretty good bet.